It's the worm. You're here, I'm here. Welcome back. The furball is losing his mind out here. I've tried having conversations with him. He won't listen, so I thought I'd talk to you instead. Yep, there we go. Go ahead. Bark and run, buddy. I'm hoping that this video can be made. I don't know yet. If you watched the last video, we got the rest of the doghouse framed in. The thing is freaking gorgeous, and I think rock steady. It was 24 degrees this morning when I woke up, which is fantastic for being outside. The problem is I didn't see it coming. I didn't drain my water tank. I know this happens every single year, and every single year I say the same thing. All my hoses are frozen right now. I'm guessing the fitting on the tank is all iced up. But for the most part, the temperatures are going to be higher than this. Like the 10-day forecast, it's not even going to get down to freezing again, I don't think. So we'll just hope nothing blew out. I would love to get this thing closed in before it gets too much colder or before it snows. Kuiper's collar just beeped for some reason. It does that if it loses signal between his collar and my antenna there. I don't know why it did that, because he's standing right next to me, but it beeped and he looked at me and ran right over. I guess I should have given him a treat for listening, paying attention to the beep, but I didn't do it. Just ran inside to get a new battery for the GoPro, and oh, does that heat feel good. I don't know what my obsession with winter is. You know what I think it is? It's standing out here for an hour or the entire day, getting cold, and then being able to walk in the door and feel that wall of heat. That's not exactly a wall of heat, because I set it to about 50 degrees when I come out here. So, we got all this rigged up. We got our super fancy hinges on there, so that when the door sags or twists or warps or whatever, we can straighten it all back out. Spent a bunch of time trying to figure out this cut right here, if you remember, so that the door can open right through it. And then it was also a little bit of fun to figure out how to round that out so the door still opens and closes. Is it touching right there? Yep, I can hear a little drag. We'll sort that out later though. Right now you can eat the doghouse. So, if this video is going to go on much further, we got to find some cedar. We're going to close in the outside of this one wall. It'll be here, go up to there. We can trim all that off if we get that far. We can pull everything back off of here. We can do the house wrap on all of it, put it back on, nail it on, because each one of these is just held on by, I think, two nails. Excuse me, we're busy doing something here. So we'll fasten all those back on over the wrap, and then we can go through and oh yeah, and then including this wall, all the boards need to come off, route the edges, put them back on, caulk them. Oh boy, oh boy. Dude, I just touched the treat bag. Let's see, do I have a treat? I have one treat left. Kuiper, down. You're a real nut job, you know that? I think the only place I've seen milled cedar is in the kitchen pile again. I think it was 1 inch. I don't know what we would have milled that up for. Do you remember? You don't know nothing. Yeah, look at that frost. Winter is almost, holy cow. That dude won't even jump in my car, and it's maybe this high up. I've never seen him jump up there. That's a good 3 feet. Good job, you meat brain. This is 1 inch. When we put the half roof on this, that would have been 1 inch. Doesn't matter. Let's not think about it. We either have it or we don't. Oh, check that out. Where did this one slice of pizza come from? That's weird. Kuiper, come here and eat this. Come here. Kuiper, come. Yeah, what have you done to yourself, huh? You and your sticks. Excuse me, sir. You have something hanging out of your teeth? I don't really get what happened there. Something froze, the water drained out, and it kept dropping or something? that good? You want me to leave that with you? 1 inch, a lot of 1 inch. This is, oh, look at that. That's all 3/4. Gosh, it looks closer to half. That pile too. I wonder why it's so skinny. This is very exciting. So cool. I was getting a little bit bummed that I'm well enough to do this, like finish the doghouse, but not well enough to do the milling, so I was just going to be stuck. Of course, I always have like an enormous to-do list, like projects that I want to do that don't require heavy lifting, but I just really wanted to get this thing done. All right, let's see if the animal will jump. Kuiper, come. Jeez. Looking behind me on this little tiny screen on this, it looked like I was about to get my legs clipped out. Okay, we were trying to think up last time how we're gonna make this thing seal. Sorry to go over this again. We're gonna cut a hole in the cabin. This is gonna be a walk-through doghouse for Kuiper. Because it's going into the cabin, whatever can get through any of these cracks or get into here can also get in there. I'm thinking in the summertime, this is gonna be latched open like this, and somehow, I don't know how we're gonna do it now that I look at it, but we're gonna have to have a screen door in here. So I was thinking about doing a 2x4 overlap like this, that this door can go and squish into, and then we'll put weather stripping all the way around. But instead of using all those extra 2x4s, I'm thinking that we could just overlap this. That'll squish in there, and then we could put weather stripping there. That's 1 inch flooring, so maybe we go over 1.5 inches. I mean, I guess it wouldn't matter, we could go over 2 inches. And then we're still gonna have to have some kind of cam lock on there, maybe even 2 of them that'll push all this tight. We'll probably just do that at night before I go to bed. I can come out here, cam them closed. That'll keep the cold from getting in, or the heat from the cabin from getting out. Looks like this is bowed, because this right here is sticking out. Nope, the door's straight. Must be the frame's a little off. Well, we'll plane that down flat so that this seals nicely. Jeez, oh Pete. You okay? Did you blow a circuit? I think you might have a short somewhere. Now, I don't want you to worry. I remembered to get all of my tools out of here first before I screwed this door into place. And I have my clothespin shims. These suckers are really handy for a job like this. That's better. Every time I look up and don't see Kuiper, he's in the kitchen, on the kitchen. He's never been up there before. At one time when he was a little puppy, we put him up there. That's like 5 times I've looked over and that's where he is. What you up to, dude? Love Car Talk Day. It's about once a month. I think you can get 4 of their episodes in a row, so once a month I can burn through the 4. This makes for a great morning. You know what? We're gonna have to pull these back off to route them, aren't we? I guess I could route this. Let's do them all at once. Put in enough for reference holes once we take these off to cut them. Just a quick little mark right behind your giant head. Do you need this? You can make the mark right there. He's not on the kitchen, but I checked my app. You wouldn't find him without the collar on. Is that where the good sticks are? How did you get under there? Hey, what are you doing? Stinking weirdo. Good thing you got a fancy collar. It's nice having a strong magnet on your phone. Look at that. You just stick it to one of the nails. The only thing I found about that collar that I don't like, and I don't know if it's a setting I have or something, is if you don't have that screen turned on with the app opened, it either doesn't update or it has a huge lag. Like right now, I think it's set to refresh every 2 seconds. So you can literally just see him walking on the map. And if he goes out of that circle, then it sends me an alert, which is cool because I'm listening to my podcast. It goes right to my headphones. But if I got the phone in my pocket and the screen's turned off, you don't know. Might have to call the company and see if that's a setting issue on my end. I don't like having little tiny pieces like that, but it's not like it's going to break off in there. I put in as few nails as possible, but these are still pretty much every single one's in the way. Need to put a straight edge up here. So yeah, those are all going to be in the way. I've got one reference line that goes from there to there. So that needs to be continued up. That's in the way, and then it has to be offset from that line a ways. Same thing all the way down here. I still have a whole bucket of screws left from doing the interior boards in the cabin. I'm going to pull all the nails out, switch them out for these. And at least the screws you can sink all the way into flush, and then you could fit a straight edge over it. Then when we're done with everything, we'll pull the screws back out and we'll nail the whole thing on there. Does that seem like a good idea? Kind of like to just use these out here, but I think they would rust too fast. Look out. I gotta put the tripod right there. Thank you. Oh yeah, I actually need that piece. Let's see, so we gotta do this edge, this. We gotta do this piece. This is the door, and then the bottom of this too. Alright, changed my mind. Look how much of a jog there is there. And this side is straight, so I'm just going to cut the rest of the wall like it is with the circular saw. It's not like going to cut through anything that shouldn't be cut through, but homemade lumber, it's all different thicknesses, it's not exact, so some of them you end up not cutting quite all the way through, and some of them you dive into the frame behind it. Yeah, that's the problem right there. That one got cut through. That one didn't. That one didn't. My heart is frickin' racing again. I looked at the phone. He's not anywhere around me. It's been not a problem for how long? Weeks. There's the area where he usually hangs out around me, and there's a line just disappearing all the way back out where I found him the last couple times. First thing I did was push the button on this, the beeper button, ran to the four-wheeler, started screaming down the trail, and there he was running at me. So it's not that he was like scared away by something. I think he just went for a run, and when he heard the beep, he came right back. You're a handful. You haven't been a handful, you've been perfect. I thought that was over with. I actually had the thought this morning. I'm glad that's over with. Maybe it was just a puppy thing. He gets afraid of some loud noise and takes off because he doesn't know what else to do. Well, it's a good thing I've been doing the beeper several times a day and giving him treats because it worked. Yeah, he was about 50 feet from the road when I beeped it, and he turned right around and came back. Yeah, this is where everything is at camp. This is where he's been hanging out. And then there's just a line going up there. Yeah, he was running so fast, by the time the trail cam video kicked on, he was already out of frame. Oh, I don't like that. I guess it probably made the beep in my headphones too, but I didn't notice it. It's okay, just give me a minute. Saw the video when I got that collar for him and I first started using it. I started to train him where you can set up a boundary around here. Remember, you can draw on the map and you can say, like, you know, if you approach that line on the map, then you get a beep on the collar, and if you get all the way to the line, then it buzzes, or you can use the E-stim thing. And I only did it for a couple days because I want to be able to use the collar like this. I want to be able to push the beeper button and have him come. And the number of times, almost every single day, I walk him past those lines, whether I'm just walking and he's running next to me, or he's on a leash and we're like learning to pull a sled or something like that. And I just couldn't figure out any way that even I could keep it straight in my head if I were being trained on it. You know, when is it okay to cross this line? Under what situation? So I just stopped using it, and until just now I thought the way I was using this was just fine. I guess it was just fine. He didn't make it all the way out to the road, so that's good. It is kind of cool that he was a quarter of a mile away when I pushed the button and he turned around and came back. All right, it's all cut and rooted out. Looks pretty good. It just struck me that I have to take the boards back off the door now in order to get the screws out so that the door will come out. And we have to mark the inside of these to cut out the hinges. But all of these are now marked 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way up. You know how that numbers work? I think after 4 it's 17 or no, I can't remember. I had it figured out a minute ago. And we have screw holes in it, so it's all going to go back together just right. Now I'm paranoid. There he is. Good boy, buddy. Now anytime I can't see you, I'm just assuming you went to find a new owner, a new buddy to hang out with and feed you treats and tasty food. Decided to put them all in with screws. If they start rusting, I'll pull them out and put galvanized nails in there. Oh, you know what we need to do? I better get some of my world famous roof tar caulk out of the ATV garage there and put it in the cabin to warm up. I bet we can caulk this thing tomorrow. I think I've got a case in reserve here. Oh yeah, the old roofer's choice. Oh, my antenna's beeping. Walked away from my phone. See, the squirrels have gotten in here. I've used about every different brand of this stuff, this roof tar. I just buy whatever's cheapest on the day at a certain store, but this one, I think I don't like this one. I think this is the only one I've found that's a little different because it gets watery. Might as well warm up more than we think we need. Probably only gonna need like 2 or 3. Yeah, it sucks when you're caulking along there and all of a sudden a whole bunch of this stuff just pours out. Not like a whole bunch of caulk, it's just like a bunch of liquid tar, and then it runs down the front of whatever you're working on. Excuse me. Thank you. Had to do a little bit of cutting and trimming before I could restart the camera. You were locked in there. Had to retrim this edge a little bit. Got a little bit more to cut off there to make it fit. Starts rubbing about there. I think Kuiper already ate the piece I took off. Oh, no, it's the one here with saliva all over it. Sure, you didn't finish. You want to finish? He's about to go on a walkabout. Is it too boring around here? You gotta go for a jog? I'm gonna take a little break. Take him for a rip on the four-wheeler. You want to go sprinting, we'll have some fun. Want to go for a rip? Alright, that was kind of fun. He is not a little puppy anymore. Holy crappers. You got mud all over your face. I don't ever just rip down the trails here full speed because it kind of chews the trails up. Plus, most of them are so bouncy you can't really get going. But there's a couple spots out there that, I don't know, maybe had it at 20 miles an hour or something, and he was just right next to me cruising along. Anytime there's like a trail crossing where one direction would bring you back to camp, he stops and he looks at me, he lets me get way up ahead. He's like, aren't we going back this way? All I had to do was push the button on his collar, the beep, and he'd just take off right at me again. That was fun. Well, now can you hang around? You got a good pant going and some yawns, that's a good sign. If I ever do get one of those mini excavators, I'm gonna get a bunch of dump trucks of, what is it, crushed limestone or something? Whatever they put on driveways. And I gotta fill some of the ruts in out here because, I mean, they're mud puddles. It's kind of fine, except that when I go in or out of here, he runs, and he just like runs through the puddles and the mud and everything. But to keep the trails from eroding, you know, if you just make a little tiny divot, a little dish from your tires, that's where the rainwater and the snow melt wants to run, and it just eats it out. But if we filled some of those in, then we could let it rip, do a few laps around here every day. Doesn't look like a cardio dog to me really, but I guess he needs it. Now that there's some weight on those hinges, there's a little play in it. Let's see, I don't know if we're gonna be able to make a small enough correction. Oh, maybe. No kidding. It must be able to do like a 1/16 of an inch on this side. I thought I was gonna have to trim around the door a bunch more to get this all to fit. Well, I guess we scored on that. That was worth the $100 for the hinges. I think we'll draw knife these a little bit too before we put them back on there. They're getting a little bit shaggy. Oh yeah, I guess we could do this side. Might as well take all those off and route them real quick. Man, it's not even that cold out here, but I'm getting chilled. Might have to knock off a couple minutes early today. Am I doing this right? Not gonna bother getting all this off, but just don't like the stuff hanging. Always try to remember to grind the knots off ahead of time, because when you're draw knifing and they're still there, they're so hard to pull through. I think these screws are too short, so we're gonna have to nail this back in. Should be flush there now. We'll see how it comes out. Yep, feels pretty good. Anybody got a hammer? Don't worry, I got one right here. Hey, there's all my stuff. Jigsaw blade I was looking for. And the door holder opener eye. Hard to get to now. I think I want to put some kind of fancy latch on there. You know, one of those pressure dealies where you push it into it and it locks and then you just pop it out. Watch your snoot. Guess where I just found Kuiper this time? Go ahead, guess. Hi, buddy. You like your house? This is the only time I'm going to kick you out. Your ears are going to bleed when I pound all these nails in, but you look very cozy in there. Especially since it's starting to rain. That's a good sign. That's a real good sign. It's actually the only place out here. That's not true. He could like climb under the stairs or into the cabin. It's the only place out here he can lay to get out of the rain. It's a good thing you're man enough to hop in there so I don't have to build any stairs or a handicap ramp or anything. The place looks giant, doesn't it? Plenty of room. I had some ideas about the place. I'm thinking when it's all done in here, I'll put a whole bunch of some kind of a hook thing and just hang sticks in here. Basically, any stick he picks up and chews on is going to go in here on the wall. Then when he's chilling in here, he can just pull down whichever one he wants. I also think at some point I'll put a skylight in here, because when this is closed up in the winter, it's going to be really dark in there. I also got those 2 bags of individual LED lights. It'd be kind of cool to wire those up around inside. It's going to be all it's going to be all sorts of fun when this thing's done. You nibble in the back of the camera. We got rained out yesterday at about 3 o'clock, which was good because I had a lot of computer work and editing to do. Not good for Kuiper though. He's been in the cabin behaving himself for like, I don't know, 15 hours or something. He needs to be run around the quickest and easiest way. Jeez. Jeez. Sometimes you forget to slow down. Usually he can't stop before it gets to me. He has to run past me and then come back with the ball. Sheesh. Thank you. It's only 50 feet to go to the fire pit that direction, but it's not worth putting his harness on for that. I'm gonna give him a few minutes, few hours, whatever, till he gets antsy again, and then we'll do the long loop around. We'll give him a good half-mile pull. On the other hand, he just came ripping through here so fast he couldn't stop there. Ran into this, knocked it over, and did like a sideways somersault, a barrel roll. Yep, I think you need to pull some stuff right now. What? What? Man, I don't know what's going on out in the woods there. Sounds like somebody's revving up a NASCAR non-stop for the last 10 minutes. I don't like it. But check this out. As soon as he put his harness on, he came and laid down right in front of the sled. The dude likes pulling stuff. Okay, let's go. Come on. You need some help getting started early in the morning, huh? Let's go. I figured out what that sound was. There's a long ways from here on one of the big lakes. I think it was like a cigarette boat, because you could hear it way off there, and slowly over time it moved across the woods, and there aren't any roads back there at all. That makes me feel better. Nobody's driving a NASCAR through the woods. All right, last little bit. We're gonna see if he'll pull it up the hill. We might have to step it up a little bit. I'll give you a little help getting going. Ready? Let's go. Come on. Here we go, come on, faster. I used to be a runner, but now I have bad knees. That's about the furthest I've run in several years. We made it. Good job. You're barely winded. Good job. Let's go to the fire pit, eh? Oh, don't stall out now. You quit in the last 15 feet? I'm pulling it. All you gotta do is move your legs. Good job. You're a real pulling dog. I'm impressed. Okay, you're not unclipped yet. Oh boy. Hold on. Jeez, oh Pete's. You did fine work, sir. Fine work. Okay, as soon as the snow flies, I'm riding in the sled. Back to work. That's what we like to see. That's perfect. Actually, we need to switch out your necklaces. Move your giant head. Bet you don't like the smell of that. It's about the only thing these small batteries are good for, something like this, or sometimes a light, like a small Ryobi light. I only use it on here because this doesn't take much power, and if you're doing this all day long, it's a lot lighter. Oops, already got tar on my shirt. New tube, gotta go fast. Yeah, you can tell there's air in there because it takes a while to get started. They compress the air first, the bubbles. Ready, go. Oops, made a mess. You'd think if you store all these tubes standing straight up, especially in a hot place, over time the air bubbles would rise to the top. I guess maybe they do, because when you start the gun, you punch the hole in the tube, you start the gun, it takes quite a while for the caulk to start coming out. but I still don't know why it keeps so much pressure in there. This gun actually backs off when you let go of the trigger. It pulls the plunger back. So see, even in there right now, it's loose. Don't know how to make it stop puking like that. It's just like with a normal caulk gun, you know, you push the thumb thing when you're done with your line and it pops the pressure out of it. Still makes a mess. That's why those little squeeze tubes are so great if you want to do a really nice job at caulking anything. There's the air bubble. Just made a mess. Jeez, that was a huge air bubble. Use the overflow to fill these wormholes. You guys know how much I love science and learning about science and reading science stuff. It was only like less than a year ago that I found out it's a wormhole and not a warm hole. I don't know why it would be a wormhole, but you listen, when people talk about it, think wormhole and that's what you'll hear them say. This here, this is not very warm. It's definitely a wormhole, and I don't know where it goes to, but it's some other universe, I think. I can't believe the screw up I made. Have you guys been yelling at the screen this whole time? I can't believe I forgot to put house wrap underneath all the siding. I was pissed at myself when I forgot that little triangle on the other side that I finished a long time ago. And now I've forgotten the entire thing. Well, I guess as long as I keep up on the caulk, like this is what, a year or two old. See a little tiny bit of a crack there starting. I don't think anything's going to get into it, but if you get any cracks at all, then bugs and crap can get inside there. Oh man, that sucks. I don't know realistically how much difference it's going to make, but right now it feels like one of, if not my biggest building screw ups out here. You know, if you think about it, when you're building a normal house, what do? Studs, and then you've got some kind of plywood over it, and then house wrap, and then siding. The way I've built it, of course I don't have plywood because I don't buy lumber. There's studs, and then there's this. That's it. So that's why the layer of house wrap underneath here, I thought was a pretty important part. And now we've basically got another part of the cabin that has no house wrap. For now, you can see where the cracks are by going inside. Since the GoPro doesn't work in low light, I'll use my phone. Let's see if we can find any cracks. Wow, it is really dark in here, but see that one spot there? That's the spot I missed. There's the GoPro. This whole wall's been done. Looks like I didn't miss anything. You can see the floor. A few cracks there, but that's going to get caulked with other stuff. See the little tiny pinholes there? There's a crack up there. Now looking at the door, holes there, and then around the edge, that's all going to be weather stripping. Still, it's kind of a bummer, isn't it? So I guess what we're left with is what I was going to do in this triangle that I finished earlier. I'm just going to cut pieces of it and wrap it in the studs. This part won't be that hard, you know, cut a slice, wrap it in there. It's not perfect, but I guess it's better than nothing. It's not easy being this stupid. So we are going to have insulation, and then we're going to have these same boards on the inside. So I guess I could just insulate these and then put the house wrap and then put the wall boards over that. In my mind, that would do the same job to keep the bugs out. I mean, the bugs could get into the walls and into the insulation, but they wouldn't get into the doghouse / cabin. The problem though, is you've got warm on the inside, really cold on the outside. I'm assuming you'd get condensation on that side of the house wrap. That water would be stuck in the walls. Of course, this place is not going to be super warm. It's going to be quite chilly. Like on nights it gets down to 0, I bet, I don't know, what do you think? It'd be like 30 degrees in here or something? I guess the other thing I could do where all these boards come together, I can't get the router in all these spots now, but I could score them all with a knife, make that little V groove, and I could actually caulk all the joints on the inside, and I could use a proper caulk, a higher quality caulk that actually stretches. Wow, I just made a bunch more work for myself, didn't I? Let's look and see what we have in the garage here. Seal and paint siliconized acrylic. That is the stuff. Oh, you know what? That's the stuff I'll use for the floor too. You think we're going for a ride? Anytime I get near the four-wheeler, he comes and tries to climb up here. Well, I guess I'll take all this stuff with me, put it in the cabin. Check out the false, I think those are, excuse us, I think those are false chanterelles. So cool looking. Go on. Yeah, they got that cool orange color on the top and the bottom. I know I touched them, so now you got to eat it, right? Go on. I'm going to have to give this a think for a minute. Not going to be able to do any caulking today anyway, because that caulk is nearly frozen. I'm also remembering in here, I guess I decided to do it this way, but there's no wrap on the floor either. That was a huge problem in the cabin, if you remember when I built that. All the floor was framed out, and then I put the wrap on it, put floorboards on, and then by the time there was actually a roof on it, it was like months and months and months and months of rain that I had to keep going underneath it and cutting slits in it to let the water out. I mean, now I'm glad it's there, but it was a real big pain in the butt, and this would have been too. So I'm kind of leaning towards just going underneath here and doing the same thing as the walls. We'll think about it, look at the weather. Maybe we'll figure something out by tomorrow. We'll get back to it in a day or two. Appreciate you guys watching. Kuiper likes all the attention from you guys since he's got nothing else to do out here. All right, see you next week. Thanks.